Wow, when this video publishes, the year 2021 is going to be almost over. We've had a long year, a lot of things happening in the world, but we continue to push through and get to where we're at today, and hopefully 2022 is going to be a lot better. For the channel, basically the birthday anniversary of the channel is 1 year, just passed the other day when I started the channel. We picked up 712 subscribers during the year of 2021, and thanks to everyone that has subscribed. If you haven't and you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. We got some goals for next year in 2022 with the channel, and a lot of good things coming. I got things planned out for the whole year on reselling postcards. But today's video, I got 14 cards sold. I sold 11 on eBay, 3 on Etsy, so a total of 14 cards. Now, one gentleman bought about $22 worth of naval boats, and on Etsy too, so we have a lot of ships to go through, so they'll go pretty quick today throughout the video. And then I got a special topic: divided back postcards. One of the most prevalent postcards out there is divided back, and I'm going to explain what this is, that little line drawn there during the special topic, so that'll come here in a few minutes. And then I have a poll. Those polls I put out every Saturday. This one is: do you charge shipping for postcards? Do you do free shipping, or do you add $1? I see all different ways. And then I got about 3 viewer comments that came in over the last week, and I thought they were pretty good to spur some discussion, and I'll let you know how I replied to them. But let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to walk through some of these cards on eBay real quick, and then I'll get into the special topic, do some other cards, and then the poll. But again, if you're new to this channel, how this works, it's like one long video with like 5 different things in it. Down at the bottom there's chapters. You can pick and watch what you want and come back and watch later. So the first card that sold on eBay was just a chrome card. This is the USS Jason. Got the little name right down there. But these cards are from that naval ship haul I bought this year, or in the end August of 2021, and I'm about, I'd say, 90% through them. I got a few more things to do this year, so I think about April I'll have almost every card that I bought completed. But next card on eBay was, I'm not really too sure what this is. Oh, Lake Mohawk House from across the lake. It's a white border card, kind of, but it's an undivided back card right there. So that's Lake Mohawk House there. And this was on eBay. And this is a solid card stock. This is pretty stiff. And the stamp box is a 1-cent stamp box on there. But that's what that was, $4 to $5. Then, this is close to home. Field Museum in Chicago. This is a linen card on there, 1947, posted right there. But that's the aerial view of the Field Museum. There's no white border around it. This is all the way to the edge, they call it, the picture. So, but it has got the waffle on there. It's a linen card, $4 to $5. I picked up a whole lot of Chicago cards, pretty cheap, so had them up there. And this is Hawksbill Mountain, Western North Carolina. Nice linen card. Even though it has the white border, this has still got that waffle texture on there, and you can see the blue. In one of my videos coming up in the next month, I'm going to explain about that blue on linen cards and how they did that. That's just an unposted linen card, regular linen card stock. Usually linen cards, I kind of have to feel them if I can't see them, but once I feel them, you feel that waffle texture. In that video, I'll explain why they did that waffle texture as well. That's why you need to subscribe so you can see when I put these videos up. This one is a vertical card. It's a tree. It's the last of the 13 horse chestnut trees. On one of his visits to Fredericksburg, George Washington planted 13 horse chestnut trees to represent the 13 colonies during the Revolutionary War. This is the only one remaining. So that was pretty cool. When I pulled it, I thought it was just a tree. Really didn't know what that was. So, one of the 13 trees. White border card on there. It's not a linen. Unposted. So, I thought that was pretty cool. So, let me do one more card here. on eBay, and then I'll get into Divided Back Postcards. This is the Coast Guard boat. I had, during the naval ship haul, a lot of Coast Guard boats, and Coast Guard boats are cool. These cutters and stuff like that. This is actually an icebreaker, USCGC Staten Island, and it does ice breaking. So it's probably got triple holes and all that stuff. But that's sold $4 to $5. But let me get into Divided Back Postcards. It's probably one of the majority of postcards out there you're going to see is divided back. If you go and look at our video for Golden Age of Postcards from 1905 to 1911, you're going to see that right during that time, divided back postcards came about. But let me go ahead and give you the official definition I came up with this. So divided back postcards. 1907 to 1915 is the dates for these. Now remember, the dates can go a little bit each way, but this is the one I picked. But a divided back postcard is one whose back is segregated so that a message can be added to its left side while the right side is reserved for the address and postage. And what do I mean by that? It's like this card right here. So this side here is for the message, and this side here is for the address. So as I get into this, I'll explain what it was before and when they decided to do that. But that's the message, and that's the address. And then you have a stamp box. Great Britain was the first country to issue divided back postcards in 1902. Then they were quickly followed by France and Germany. And remember, Europe is a little ahead of us in the postcard changes. They reacted a little sooner, did things, and then we kind of followed. So the United States released new postal regulations March 1st, 1907. That's a very important date with divided back postcards in the postcard collecting world. March 1st, 1907. That this regulation, new postal regulation, it divided the back of its postcards in half. Just like I showed you, one side for message and there. Before, only the address and postage was allowed on the back of the postcards. You couldn't write anything but the address and put the postage on the back. And then you had a little writing tab on the front. And that was undivided back postcards, and I have a video up for that. But in 1907 is when they made that change. In Golden Age of Postcards, 1905 to 1911. So it just took off. But Europe did it first. On some of the earliest cards from this period, the dividing line is left of center. So if you're looking at the card, it's toward the message side. Often accompanied by printed instructions of what could be written there. And I have an example of that. Let me see if I can find it. Here's one. So if you look at this card, this is your left. And that line is moved over, make sure I do it right this time, is a little bit off center to the left. They say that's, when you see that, that means it's a little earlier card. So closer to 1907. And then the address here. Then you'll see most modern ones are right in the center. But this one's moved a little bit to the left. A later variation eliminates the line, but adds the words correspondent and address on the appropriate sides. So you'll see some divided back postcards not have a line. It's a variation on there. Even though I say in the video, it's got to have a line. Some variations you'll see, it'll say correspondence and then address and no line. It's still a divided back card per the technical specs and what they say here. So if you see that and it says there and you can put both on the back, it's considered a divided back per the specs. A dividing line could have been drawn in by hand on some divided back cards were still being mailed. So when they made a change from undivided back, where you can only put the postage and address on the back, to divided back, a lot of people still had undivided back cards. So what they did is they would draw their own line. Just like I showed before, this card here, here's the front and back of it. They drew a line and they wrote the message and they put the address. So they basically created from an undivided back card a divided back. So would you consider that divided back, or would you consider it undivided back card? Me, I consider them either way. I don't think it'll help or hinder the sale of card or any extra dollars to that, but it's just those, you'll see those variations out there. So if you see a line drawn, look for the correspondence and address or message and address. That's still divided back, but it doesn't have that and it has a line drawn. It's probably an undivided back, and they drew the line to do that so they don't have to write on the front, and still met the 1907 regulations. Now, by permitting messages to be written on the back of postcards, it allowed the entire front to be dedicated to holding the image, which was great because now you got a full image, no one's writing on it, and it looks really good. This innovation greatly increased the popularity of postcards because now they got a full thing, they could write on the back, had more room, etc. So that's when the golden age of postcards really helped get that going. From 1905 to 1911 is the divided back postcard. The divided back period is also known as the golden age of postcards due to the vast popularity of postcards during this time period. And these are basically how all the postcards are done today. Message here, address here. We all know that. We're pretty well there, but in the early days, undivided back, divided back, there was a time. Let me go through here and show you a couple of the divided back cards I got here. So this is just a typical chrome card, your modern card from the 1950s forward. They didn't use a line, they just put the you'll see the publisher in the middle. And then it didn't say address or message, but everybody kind of knows by now when this card was done that you put the message here and you put the address here under the stamp box. So that's just a regular modern chrome card, as they call it. Here's the typical ones that you're going to see a lot of earlier divided backs, drafts at a zoo. And here's your line right down the middle. This is your message, this is your address. That's what that looks like. This is the one that the line was a little bit toward your left to the message than the address, so that's probably earlier, they say, to 1907. And then the same one with this line is moved over to the left, your left, toward the message side than the address. So that'll help you date some of the cards. You can also look at the stamp box, look at how much is there, and just a lot of things. We have a video on dating postcards. There's 5 tips that'll help you with that. On there's Facebook groups that can help you with dating postcards. But divided back postcards are probably the most you're going to see. And it's really about the subject on the front. It is kind of about what they write on the back, if you can identify it, but I usually don't read them that often or look at the stamp and stuff. It's more about the subject on the front, the picture, the time it was taken, and stuff like that. But that's divided back postcards. Who knew? Now let me go ahead and finish up these eBay orders. This next order was for 5 Navy ship cards. It was about $20 to $25 for all these cards mailed out there. I'll just go through them real quick. USS Nashville, USS San Bernardino. These are all chrome cards, and they all sold, between $4 and $5. USS Incheon. This was a amphibious assault ship. I'm getting pretty good with these ships. I still got to read them though. USS Camden, AOE-2. On the back here, when you list them, they all had the names and stuff like that, so it wasn't too bad to list them. It's just a lot of them that I have. And then USS Barbary. It's a fast frigate. So, but the naval ships, since I got them out there, now they've been working on them since August, and now they're getting out there. I think they're starting to get into the Google searches. I got them on Etsy, I got them on eBay, I got them on HIP. I think they're starting to get into the searches. People are starting to look for them. There's a lot of Navy people out there. Hope the conventions come. I've had people buy 10 cards, 20 cards, 1 card. So the multiple cards is where you make more money, and I want to move them as fast as possible. But it'll be a long haul to go through them. But like I said, I'm about done with the Navy ships, and as I go through the videos, you'll see those, but I'll go through those pretty quick because they all kind of look the same after a while, but they do bring a part of history, in there. So the poll I picked from every Saturday about 9 o'clock Central Time, I send out one of these polls on the community tab. If you go in the channel, you'll see the community tab, and there's these polls. And I put out one about 9 o'clock every week. And this one, and it's just short questions, very easy to do. And they're all anonymous. I don't know who picks what. But it gives you a percentage, and it kind of gives you a gauge. Where do I sit as a postcard reseller? Am I doing it like the average people, or am I off in left field? So this one was, I asked the question, do you charge for shipping on postcards? And we had 52 votes. 60% said yes. 40% said no. So I don't charge shipping on postcards. If I sell them international, I'll add the charge 90 cents in there, I think it is. Because I have the 53 cents or 55 cents added in. At 90, it's $1.30 basically to send an international card sometimes with a stamp, unless they want it first class international. But I do free shipping. Now on eBay, it's just easier for the accounting and everything else for me. On Etsy, they always say Etsy will give you a little boost if you do free shipping. But so I do free shipping domestically over there as well. And HIP is free shipping as well because it takes it from eBay. Even if they buy multiple cards, I still do free shipping because if they buy 10 cards, you know, I got $5 worth of shipping added into the price because it's really not free. It's built into the price. And I can send 10 cards for $3 to $4. So 60% said they add shipping. Now people will add that up and I see it. I don't know if it'll help or hinder you to sell a card because people still add it up. And when they sort it on, when they're say looking on eBay, I know sometimes I've gotten stuck where I bought a card and when I went to look at it, they wanted $3 to ship a $3 card. But 60% of the people say they're adding shipping. Put in the comments on why you add the shipping after, not put it in as free shipping. And then 40% said no. And those people, put in the comments on why you do that. I would like to understand it a little bit more, so, and people would like to read that and say, what is your thinking on doing that? Does it help? Does it not help? I don't think it helps either way as much, but it helps me with free shipping, and I think it does give me a boost in search with Etsy, maybe eBay, but those are all the foil hat myth things, you know, play with the algorithm type stuff. But charging shipping on postcards. Now if you're selling Chrome cards for, you know, $3.50, $4, and you got $4 or $5 shipping on there, you're gonna statistically not sell that card unless it's very special subject to that person, an impulse buy. But if you sell a card for $3.50 and add $1 shipping, that's $4.50. That falls right in there. But people will add that up. But why wouldn't you just make it a $4.50 card or a $3.50 card and just add the $1 into your price? That's the question I have. Not saying that's right or wrong. I just picked one way and I stuck with it. So you want to be consistent. So when people are looking at your store, you're consistent. That's the polls. Go check them out. There's some good information there on there. And as the channel builds, we'll start getting more samples. Right now we had 52 votes on this one, which was for the size channel we have, and being a year, I'm pretty happy with the polls. But if there's any questions that you want me to put out there, send me a message. I'll put it up, and I'll put it in the queue, and then it'll go out on one Saturday. And you can always go back and check and see how your question did. I'm going to get into the Etsy cards. And one of the questions here is going to talk about Etsy a little bit on cross-posting that I'm going to go through on the viewer comments. But let me show you what I sold on Etsy. I've been experimenting with Etsy to see if the Navy ships that would sell on Etsy as much as they do on eBay. So I only had 3 orders on Etsy, and this was one ship. USS Shreveport. These are all new cards. And remember, I bought this collection from a club that sold these cards for years, and they got out of it on there. So there's just a lot of them. But this one sold, $4 to $5. My price is pretty well the same across all my sites. And then I sold, this gentleman bought 2 cards. He bought the Dunn County ship, and this one is just called USS LST-1. This is an older one, commissioned in 1942, so right during the World War II. on there. So these two cards right here, they sold for, you know, $4.60, $4.50 each, so it's $8 on there. So the ship cards is starting to sell on Etsy, but I don't want to just put ship cards up. So I want to have a good mix, but this is all the ship cards that I have scanned in for Etsy, and I put up about maybe 5 or 10 a day just to sprinkle them in, because I don't want to become just a ship postcard site. I want to have some of these other ones in there, so I've been very careful not just doing naval ships. I wanted to put some other cards. But those are all the postcards. Like I said, 11 on eBay, 4 on Etsy. I did have a few other ones that I packed up earlier, like 4 or 5. So we probably had about 20 cards go out today. I'm happy with that. Now let me get into the viewer comments and what this part of the video is. I grabbed the comments from YouTube, emails, whatever I get them, questions, and I talk about them at the end of these videos, and it kind of gives you an insight on how I do things or how I answer them or what other people are questions. They might have the same question you do, but feel free to put comments in there and I'll grab them out. But the first one's from Russell. Hey Mark, I was looking into listing postcards on Etsy and Hip Postcards and wanted to ask you if you think selling on those platforms is worth it, considering the cost of selling on those platforms compared to the few sales you get on those platforms. From watching your videos, it does not seem like you get many sales from either platform, and looking at the fees involved in selling on these platforms, I don't know if it would be worth it for me to sell on them. I would appreciate your thoughts on this. Love your videos, keep them coming. I like comments at the end like that. Yeah, I got a whole bunch planned in 2022. And if there's any topics that you want me to go over, put them in the comments or send me an email. My email's in the description in the videos or in the about section. And I want to do some stuff that I don't know a lot about. So if there's cards out there and you send me a question and I don't know about, I'll go out and research it and I'll come up with the highlights and we all can get together and figure it out. But listing on Etsy and Hip. So if you're just starting postcards, this is my recommendation. This is just me talking. Start on eBay. Put up 1,000 cards. You're going to learn the shipping. You're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. Get your inventory together and get it figured out. Learn the errors of postcards. You know, you want to know the chrome, you know, the linen, the divided back, white borders. There's videos out there I got on there. There's some other sites out there that have some too. Your first 1,000 cards, you're going to understand that and answer the questions to your customers, and you're going to get to know that. Once you got a good cash flow and you're paying your bills on eBay, that's when I would think about going on to Etsy or Hip. You need to carry those other sites. They're a lot slower. So 80% of my card sales in 2021 was on eBay. 15% was on Etsy, 5% on Hip. eBay carried Etsy years ago when I first started putting postcards on Etsy. eBay had to carry it and pay the fees some months because I didn't sell enough cards. Now, in the last year, every month except a couple months, I didn't make profit on Etsy. Some months I did really well. Some months I didn't make it. It's just the way those sites are. Hip, I've made it every month this year, but not a lot. Now, your profit percent on Hip per card sold is higher because it's just a PayPal fee and a little commission to them. It's not as big as eBay. Etsy's fees can eat you up. They don't have a store. They do have like a program that you can pay $10 a month for. It does give you like 25 free listings, but it doesn't do much like a store on eBay. So basically just look at it as 20 cents for 4 months. So I put one card up every 4 months. If it doesn't sell, I get charged 20 cents to renew that listing. So in a year, that would be 80 cents. Now just times that by 10. Times it by 100. Times it by 1,000. Your cost can be up there. So you got to look at Etsy. You might need some help when you first get started to carry that in the first 6 months until you really become known. You get into their search. They do have a top-rated programs called Star Seller. I've met 2 of the requirements, but they have this thing about you got to respond to messages in 24 hours. I never hit that. And I couldn't figure out why. And I looked at it the other day. It's because I didn't respond to some blow-up-all offers. They look at every message. So from now on, when I see a message, it's going to be yes or no to them, or no. And I'm just going to respond. Even if I put a period in it or a dash and send it on, that's responded. So does it really help? I don't know for postcards. But yes, I think if you really want to get into postcards, you need to have a presence on HIP at some point. It's a micro niche site, as I call it, for postcards. It's easy to do on HIP because anything you put on eBay will sync over to HIP. And if it sells on HIP, they have a little workaround right now. You send a file over to eBay or whatever, and it'll take it off and take it down. Where once they get their sync working again with eBay, it's automatic. Next question is Tim C. How do you cross-list the different sites? Love to know that. And I see your number system to store the cards, but how do you know what card is where in eBay, Etsy, etc.? Thanks. So I don't cross-list except for Etsy or eBay and HIP. That's just automatic sync. And like I said, if that wasn't working, I would stop that right away. But it does work, and it's easy to manage. eBay and Etsy, I do not cross-list. I just put separate listings on eBay and Etsy. So in my Easy Auction Tracker software that I use to grab the data from eBay on my sales, there's an inventory tab, and you put the date you listed it, the title, the quantity, what you paid for it, and SKU number, a custom label field in eBay. So on the listing page it says custom label. I'll take that number, and it's just sequential right down the spreadsheet. So say it's 1,000, I put that number in the custom label field. So when that card sells, or if I go to look for that card, it's number 1,000, and it'll show up. The customer doesn't see that, just me. Now in Etsy, I put that number in what they call the SKU field in the listing, and only I see that. So that's how I know where it is. I don't reuse numbers. I just keep moving forward on the inventory sheet on there. What I like about that, and what I put for the title, I just copy when I do a listing on eBay, I just copy it over to that spreadsheet. What that helps with, if I misplace a card in one of these boxes, there is no way, with as many cards I got, I'm going to find them. I've had to go to that spreadsheet once in a while and I'll search the title, since it's exactly what's in eBay or Etsy, or I'll find that card. Maybe I transposed a number, or I accidentally misplaced it. It does happen. We're human. It's a real saver. A little bit extra time in listing, but I have a nice listing of all my inventory. And at the end of the year, I have a number at the top. Tells me what my total inventory costs. I do it for my toys and everything on there, so that's the number I give my tax lady. Very simple to do. Next one comes from Checker 20, longtime viewer. I think it helps out with a lot of other sites as well. I have no listings with that single unit click. Now Rick come out and said that he thought that the single unit click in the listing, in the item specifics, wasn't selected. That might cause the problem with the shipping, where it wasn't showing eBay standard envelope. So Tracker went out and looked, and he said he didn't have no listing with that single unit click, so he didn't have it, and he hasn't had the problem. So it goes back and forth, but I'm glad you checked that and you let me know and let us know what it was. And he's only had one card that got moved to a different category on eBay. When they did the fall update, they moved a postcard to a different category, which doesn't use eBay standard envelope, during the October fiasco, and he just had to throw a stamp on it. Yeah, so you want to keep some stamps in there around just in case you run into a glitch like that. So thanks for that information, Striker. Now, we talked about Divided Back Postcards and the Golden Age of Postcards. I did a video on Golden Age of Postcards that will be interesting to you if you want to know more about the era when the Divided Back came and how it helped it. But if you watch this video right here, you're going to get a good idea why there was billions of postcards out there. And it's called the Golden Age of Postcards. So go watch this video. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.